There at Powers, straight drop. Going to take a shot, and he's going to Stewart in the back corner. Touchdown, Benedictine!
No flags on that play, Jack. And great job. Brad was double covered, almost kind of a suspect decision by Powers, but one of the defensive backs slipped in the end zone, and the other one seemed like he lost the ball, and Brad just went up and grabbed it.
Yeah, it's one of those plays that the Thomasville defensive staff's got to be very disappointed. Yeah, you got BC in a 4th and long situation. That was, for all intents and purposes, just a jump ball that Stevie threw up high, and Stewart was just bigger and stronger, went up and got it. So nice execution as Deloach attempts the point after, and the point is up, and the point is good. It almost looked like it hit off the left upright. It sneaks just inside, and with 9:45 remaining in the first quarter, BC has drawn first blood, 7-0.
Boy, you talk about a roller coaster ride to start the game. You force a turnover, you have a suspect offensive pass interference called on you, and then you convert on a 4th and 12 on a jump ball touchdown pass. And also, we need to credit the offensive line on that play too, as Stevie had plenty of time for that play to develop. And the Thomasville defense so far has been very aggressive. They're living up to their reputation. The linebackers blitzing or threatening to blitz. So this is going to be a good ball game tonight.
Yeah, that's what we expected all week coming in. That's Powers' 23rd touchdown pass of the year. And for Stewart, that's his 13th receiving to go along with 2 special teams touchdowns to give him 15 on the year. And there is a new return man back there for Thomasville. It looks like
hard to get a number on him from here in the booth.
Looks like Jalandon Jones is the return man on the right side. We'll try to get the left side as Deloach will kick it from north to south. A little lower kick than last time, end over end, and that looks like Jones is going to take it right in the middle of the field. We have a guy break through, make first contact, slows him down just a little bit, and not a bad return for Thomasville as they'll get it out to the 30-yard line.
Yeah, decent coverage there. We had one arm tackle, but still we had other guys there to wrap him up and bring him down. 2 decent kicks by Deloach to start the game. I think the key is just to keep him in bounds tonight. He always tries to get him near the sideline, and his 2 kicks tonight have been pretty good down past the 20-yard line and both in bounds.
Thomasville will run their first play out of the shotgun as they send a man in motion. And I give to Jones off the right side. Jones got a little running room. He's going to squirt through the middle of the BC defensive line, give him a gain of about 7.5 on the play. Good push by the Thomasville offensive line, and you can tell that speed from Jones. He gets to it real quick.
And, Jack, the Bulldogs are going hurry up to start the game. Looking to the sidelines for the play, and they're going to line up.
A single back set with receivers split to both sides, double tight end look. And they'll send a tight end in motion across to the right side of the formation. Hayes will play action. He looks to throw, and he's a dual threat guy. He can do it both, and now he gets out, and he'll pick up a first down for Thomasville, and that's the ability that Hayes brings to this offense. There was really nothing there. Good pass coverage by BC, but he just tucked it, and it could have been a lot worse if he didn't trip up there.
Yeah, we talked about it pregame, and he just did a simple rollout. He had one receiver, and he was covered by Zach Scott, so he just tucked it and run, picked up the first down.
So they're not going to huddle. BC will not huddle much of the night either, as they'll go shotgun with 2 backs in the backfield. And Hayes rolls right. Hayes looking, nothing there, and he's going to tuck it and run again, and he's going to pick up about 6 or 7 as he goes out of bounds. And once again, that's 2 pass plays back-to-back where there's not much there downfield, and Hayes just keeps it and gets what he can.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with 6 yards a clip here for the Bulldogs. The key for BC is obviously don't let anything behind you, and hopefully we can get the ball back here pretty soon and force a punt.
Second leading rusher on the team is Hayes, as they'll have it 2nd and 3 now into BC territory. Clock running with 8:34 left in the first quarter. Hayes takes the snap, and that looks like Jones will take it off the left side. Stays on his feet, does a good job of keeping his balance. Where they're spotting him right now, it looks like it's going to be a Thomasville first down.
Yeah, not a bad job defensively by the Cadets. He still picked up 3 yards, did get the first down, but the defensive line did a good job of occupying their guys. I think our linebacker was just a step slow in filling the gap.
1st and 10 at the 43 for the Bulldogs, and they'll stay in that shotgun. And Jones to Hayes' left, and they'll send McGriff in motion. And they'll give it off the left side, and we stick him right behind the line. Looks like Paul West was the first guy back there contacting the ball carrier for BC, the big senior, able to make a big play here early on for the Cadets.
Yeah, great job by the right side of that line. Paul West, DJ Owens, they stood up their offensive lineman. There was nowhere for the running back to go. Allowed the rest of the Cadets to gang tackle.
And Jones the single back, and they show twins to the right side. And Hayes will go under center, and then he'll look to the sideline as Thomasville coaches will relay a new play or message into the quarterback. Snap, and they'll give it to Jones. And Jones gets stuck right there at the line of scrimmage.
Another great job. I see True Self Cooper in there. Paul West again. It looks like we're running a base 4-3 defense, but it looks like Josh Williams is basically going to be living as a defensive end, and then we could be sending Muller or True Self Cooper on blitzes as well. But we've done a good job so far containing the run game.
Going to be 3rd and 7 for Thomasville. They check in Sappin as an extra receiver. Hayes takes the snap, and they'll give it to Jones right up the middle, and Jones is going to get close to a first down. It's going to set up about 4th and 1.5 yards. And I know it's early, but very impressed with the explosion by Jalandon Jones. He's able to get to his top speed as quick as anybody I've seen this year running the ball.
And Jack, it is 4th down, but the yard marker still says set. Okay, they got it corrected to 4th, so we shouldn't have any confusion here.
4th down. That's either Gordon or James in at fullback. We got 2 number 2s on the roster. Jones is the I-back. And they send McGriff in motion across the formation, and they're going to give it to Jones on a little stretch play, and he's going to have the first down. A slow, long developing play, but Thomasville's offensive line was able to hold some blocks. Gain of about 2.5 on the play, and it'll be a fresh set of downs for Thomasville.
Yeah, just some scoop blocking to the right there, something that BC lived on last season with the personnel we had, and he just found a seam and shot through it and picked up the first down.
1st and 10, just now under 6 minutes left to go in the first quarter. 2 tight ends against for Thomasville. Hayes drops straight back, and he throws out in the right flats, intended for McGriff, right in front of the Thomasville bench. We had good coverage out there. Holguin and Zach Scott were the 2 closest Cadets. Will bring up 2nd and 10.
Yeah, just a throw was a little high. Had it been on target, he probably could have picked up a few yards, maybe made a guy miss, but he just needs to get that ball down a little bit.
They do have 4 receivers that have double-digit catches this year. So I know Thomasville, I think, for the most part, wants to establish that run, but they're more than capable through the air. Single back is Jones, and they'll flip the tight end to the other side. That's Hammonds. Play action fake. Hayes looks. Hayes stands up straight in the pocket and delivers a dart right across the middle of the field. All the BC defenders are saying an incomplete pass. The umpire was right on top of it. And they're going to say it's a complete pass. The BC side is going really crazy, thinking that was an incomplete pass. I could not tell.
Yeah, hard to, because it wasn't a low ball, unless they're saying he juggled it and dropped it on the ground. The players aren't complaining too hard, so I don't know. It must have been the correct call.
3rd and 5, high snap that's going to get over Hayes' head. Hayes still scrambling, trying to make something out of nothing, and we get him way back in the backfield. That's Paul West, True Self Cooper. DJ Owens is probably going to be the one that gets credit for the sack, but another break for BC as the snap was a little high. Hayes couldn't reel it in, and it's going to bring up 4th and about 15, and Thomasville appears to be bringing their punt unit onto the field.
2 huge breaks for the Cadets. Actually, 3 huge breaks to start the game. The fumbled kickoff, the touchdown pass to Stewart in the end zone, and now the snap over the head forcing a punt by Thomasville. It kind of feels like the opposite of the start of the Vidalia game.
Stewart standing at the 10-yard line away in the punt, real high, nice punt from Thomasville, and Stewart will call a fair catch at the 15-yard line. That's where he'll make it. The punt by number 35, Lucas Heron. He's also listed as a senior. Really nice high punt. Got his coverage guys a chance to get down the field. And BC will take over their second possession, probably the worst field position we've had in about a month.
I think you're right, Jack. Our past three opponents did not provide much of a challenge. But, again, great punt by Thomasville there to not allow any return by Stewart and to also pin us back a little bit and flip field position.
1st and 10 Cadets will have Stewart by himself to the left, Trips to the right, and Harris, the fullback, next to Powers in the shotgun. We send Chance Jackson in motion. We're going to give it to Harris. A little cross play right up the gut, and the big fullback's going to drive with his legs. They're going to get about 8 on the play, and kind of one of those token gives. We'll give to Harris maybe 5 to 10 times a game, and a good pickup there on first down.
And I think that's going to be key, Jack, with the athleticism of this Thomasville defense. They're going to blitz on the corners, and if we can catch them doing that and over pursuing, the middle's going to be open for someone like Chris Harris.
2nd and 2, we send Jackson in motion. Powers looking quick, and we throw it, and Stewart's going to catch it, but could have been dangerous right there. They had a defensive back that read it the whole way. Could have been a pick six, but he fit it in a little window there. It's going to pick up a first down. A good coverage over there by number 9, Forenza Chapman for Thomasville, but BC does get a first down at the 29-yard line.
You got to be careful with those, but it was placed in the right spot, and Brad made a good catch.
Give goes to Jackson, who tries to get around the right side. He gets north and south, and he's got room to run, and he's going to be brought down finally at about the BC 48-yard line. Good blocking on the perimeter there by the Cadet offensive lineman. A couple of guys pulling from the interior.
Jack, earlier this week, you and I talked, and we kind of figured offensively we'd probably be okay. We'd be able to score some points, and we are worried more about our defense. But the longer we can keep drives like this going and let our defense stay on the sideline, the better off we're going to be.
Harris right up the gut, the big fullback taking it and driving with those big legs, and he'll get across the 45 into Thomasville territory. And Thomasville's defense has gone through a couple of injury problems here the last couple of weeks. It's been a very stout defense for the most part. Even in their losses, the defense has played pretty well. Struggled against Brooks County a couple of weeks ago, but for the most part, it's been a very good unit. And BC's going to have to play well to continue to move the football.
Absolutely. Holding Valdosta to 10 points is all I need to know about Thomasville's defense.
2nd and 2, we'll give it to Kennedy, who gets to the halfback position, and he's going to try to bounce it to the outside. Probably could have gotten another 3 or 4 if he would have stayed on the hash, but it will be enough for another BC first down.
Yeah, hard to argue with our offense so far, but I agree with you, Jack. He tried to do too much. If he had just kept going straight ahead, could have picked up a few more yards.
1st and 10 BC, 2:30 left to go in the first quarter. Cadets up 7-0. And we'll send Jackson in motion from his slot to a halfback spot. Powers going to give it to Jackson, who works on the right side, and he's going to leap forward across the 35-yard line, gain of about 5 on the play, bring up 2nd and 5.
And, Jack, so far it looks like our offensive line is getting push off the ball, and that was something against Vidalia we were not able to do, so a good sign so far for the Cadets.
I do see Beaudry in the game for Thomasville back there at his safety position. Powers takes the snap, gives it to Harris right off the, I guess you could call it the middle, and he's going to be about a yard short of the first down marker. Great push right there by the right side of our offensive lineman, Creech, and Nice, it appears to be, who led that charge on 2nd down.
Yeah, very good drive that Coach Baker Woodward and the Cadets are putting together here.
Going to be 3rd and a long yard. Maybe you could call it 2. We send Kennedy in motion. We'll give it back to Harris. Harris is going to have the first down and more as he gets wrestled down at about the 21.5-yard line. It'll be another BC first down.
Just a good little misdirection play right there. Kennedy goes to the right, and then Harris comes over to the left and just takes it through. And when you're playing a fast, aggressive defense, misdirection and draws and plays like that are going to be what's going to work.
BC twins to both sides, and we send Kennedy back into the backfield. Powers takes the snap. Kennedy right up the gut. He doesn't do it too often, but he's going to get a good positive gain. A gain of about 5. You normally see Kennedy going on the perimeter, but right there sticks his head in between the tackles, picks up a good chunky yardage.
Yeah, Kennedy, only a sophomore, is still somewhat small for a back. He's definitely not a in between the tackles back yet, but a good run there.
40 seconds left to go in the opening quarter. 2nd and 5 for the Cadets. We're going to give it to Jackson around the right side. He squirts through the middle. He stays on his feet. Touchdown, Benedictine.
Chance Jackson showing some moves there, some elusiveness, just kind of sliding off tacklers. That's kind of what he's done his whole career. He kind of first jumped on the scene his sophomore year against Lamar County in the 2nd round of the playoffs. And he's never quite put a full season together, but this senior year has definitely been his best, and you saw the talent he has right there on that play.
Brandon DeLoach, the senior place kicker, will on to attempt the point after out of the hold of Philip Moore. Good snap, good hold. The kick is up, and the kick is good with 28 seconds remaining in your opening quarter of play. Your score, BC 14, Thomasville nothing.
Well, we built up a good cushion here to start the game. However, I will remind everyone of how the Vidalia game started for the Cadets, with the Indians jumping out to a big early lead, and then the Cadets came racing back to take the lead later, only to lose the game late. But we are by no means out of the water in this game, and just hang on to your hats, because I got a feeling Thomasville is not going away anytime soon.
No way, and Thomasville is definitely not happy with how this game started, but Coach Riles over there probably a little disappointed where things stand right now, but a long way to go, and these Bulldogs have been in positions like this before, and long football game to go. BC's got to continue to play solid, sound football as we work our way through the evening. And it looks like Beaudry and Jones will be back once again to return the kick. Jones on the left hash as you look on your screen, and Beaudry on the far hash. And DeLoach with his 3rd kickoff of the night is high, a little bit shorter, and it's squirting to the left, and it is going to go all the way into the end zone. How that stayed in bounds, I do not know. It was riding that far sideline and took a straight bounce right up the sideline along the hashes and gets into the end zone. Thomasville will start at the 20-yard line.
Well, Jack, so far all the breaks are bouncing the Cadets' way. That ball was headed straight out of bounds, but ends up being a touchback. So a difference of 15 yards.
Yep.
That could have been, instead of having the ball at the 20, the Bulldogs could have started at the 35. So we were very lucky that bounced into the end zone.
28 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Thomasville 1st and 10. Hayes back in that shotgun with 2 backs. They'll send McGriff in motion. Hayes straight drop. Looking, nothing there, and trying to make something out of nothing. And we'll get him, force him out of the sidelines. It's going to go down as a sack, as we had DJ Owens, who's had pretty good success here early on, shoves him out of bounds, stops the clock, and it'll be a loss about 3, and bring up 2nd and long for Thomasville.
You can't defend that any better than the Cadets did there. Everyone was covered. The defense did not over-pursue. They just flowed with the quarterback and ended up pushing him out of bounds.
Sapp will check into the game once again as they bring in an extra receiver for a tight end. Hayes, straight drop. Once again, we get pressure. We miss him with the first guy, and then they hit a guy, and we hit him right as he makes the catch. That's Brandon DeLoach coming up from a cornerback position. Good job by Hayes, able to kind of do something and create some time of his own. He was able to flip it out there. The referees are discussing maybe whether or not it was a incomplete pass or not, but great job by senior Brandon DeLoach, who's also the kicker for BC, coming up and making a good play in the open field.
Yeah, DeLoach, and really if DeLoach doesn't make that play and the ball's complete, I don't think there's anyone else over on that sideline. He could have had he could have been gone after that.
So they are going to rule it. Oh, no, there's a flag on the play, and the flag will be picked up. I did not see the flag go down onto the field, but they waved the flag off. And the clock is currently stopped at 12 seconds. It'll be 3rd and 13 for Thomasville. They're going to rule that an incomplete pass. Thomasville sends 2 receivers to the left, have a tight end to the right side of the formation. Hayes takes a snap. Once again, a straight drop, and he puts the ball on the ground. And then they have a lineman who picks it up. And it's going to be 4th down Thomasville, and Hayes just didn't have much time that whole series, and right there had the ball a little away from his body. We had a guy come back there and strip it out of his hands. Thomasville was able to fall on it, but way back inside their own 5, and that will be the final play of the first quarter.
Well, not many good things happening tonight for Thomasville. Now they're backed up, having to punt out of the back of their end zone. And, Jack, this kind of reminds me of that Fitzgerald playoff game last year when kind of the avalanche just started to roll. And what kind of capped it off was a botched snap on a punt in the end zone. And Thomasville is looking at that same scenario right now. Their first punt of the game was very good, so I don't suspect them to have any problems. But regardless, the Cadets should end up with good field position.
If you're just joining us, we're at the conclusion of the first quarter of play as we bring you live first round action, the GHSA AA state playoffs between the 9th-ranked Thomasville Bulldogs and the 4th-ranked Benedictine Cadets here on BC TV. Tonight's game sponsor is Southern Breeze HVAC Incorporated, and we appreciate all they do for the BC community and especially for tonight's broadcast. That's Rob Riles, a class of 95 graduate, helping bring that broadcast to you tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Riles, and any other supporters out there interested in sponsoring the BC TV broadcast, please visit the school website, thebc400.com, and you can find information from there on different levels of sponsorship.
Lucas Heron, the punter for Thomasville, will stand almost with his heels on the back line. We've got Kennedy and Stewart standing at their 35 awaiting the punt. Good snap. Punt gets away. Another high spiral drive. Kennedy all the way back to the 49-yard line. He'll take it right there, and he's going to try to get up the sidelines. He's got a couple of blocks. He's got another block, and we're going to get a flag behind the play. Kennedy actually steps out of bounds. The referee doesn't call it. It'll be a touchdown BC, but it's coming back.
Yeah, it looks to be a block in the back.
And from where I saw it, Will, it was probably a little bit behind where Kennedy was.
Yeah, if that's what they're throwing the flag on, I think it was an unnecessary. And really, the man was almost falling down. I think our guy just kind of nudged him.
And the referee just picked up the flag and moved it back an extra 8 yards from where he threw it. And if the penalty's being marked off from the 40-yard line, and that's where he's saying the penalty was, then the flag was thrown on a block that was way behind Kennedy.
Well, Jack, I do think that was accurate, and I'll tell you why. The official that threw the flag was way down at the back of the play, and I think he saw it and was waiting to see if the other guy threw it, and when he didn't, he came out of his pocket and threw it as far as he could.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to argue with that.
And
I think
that's
that
what referees commonly do, will put it as close to the spot as they think the penalty happened. It just goes to show you that block was well behind the play. But BC will have it. Again, 1st and 10 right at the midfield stripe. Powers gives off to Harris. Not much there. Harris will be driven back. A little late activity on the end of that play. But they are going to give Harris about a yard. Give him 2 yards of forward progress. Bring up 2nd and 8 for the Cadets.
Yeah, Thomasville, they've got a little energy in their step. I think that block in the back penalty gave them a little momentum here. But still, we've got the ball in their territory, and it'd be great to convert this into some points, but at the very least, burn some clock and keep field position in our favor.
We give it to Kennedy around the right end. He tries to get to the corner, and Thomasville does a great job of coming up. A couple of defensive backs, 14 for Thomasville. Cameron Harris looks like he was leading the charge, a sophomore. Came up and delivered a big blow. A gain of about a 1 on the play for the Cadets will bring up 3rd, and we'll call it 6.
And this will be our first obvious passing situation since that very first drive after the offensive pass interference call. We haven't had to pass the ball so far tonight, really. and we're going to take a timeout to talk about it.
BC, that's their first timeout of the first half, so they have 2 remaining. And Thomasville shot themselves in the foot a couple of times there in the first quarter, and then BC with that block in the back on the punt return kept this game from being 21-0. But BC does face 3rd and 7 in Thomasville territory with 10:29 remaining in your second quarter of play.
Big critical 3rd down right here as the momentum of the game kind of hinges on this play. We pick up a first down, we can continue to burn this clock and sustain this drive. However, if Thomasville stops us and we have to punt it right back to them, then the momentum has definitely shifted back to the Bulldogs as they try to dig themselves out of the hole that they've created so far tonight.
We have 3 wide receivers to the left side of the formation. And Stevie drops straight back. We try to set up a screen. It's going to be thrown too high, and it was there. We tried to go to Kennedy on a little screen, and they had one guy that might have could have made a play. It was set up perfect. Great play call by Baker Woodward. We just couldn't execute. Powers really wants that one back, and BC's punt unit will have to come on to the field for the first time tonight.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jack. It was a good call. Again, you're playing an aggressive defense. You know they're going to blitz. The only guy there was the strong safety in the middle of the field. Brad Stewart had his guy locked up, so if that was completed, Kennedy could have turned to the sideline and probably picked up the first down.
Adam King, sophomore punter for BC, a high, nice spiral. It'll come down the 9-yard line. They touch it. Ball's loose, and we're rolling around on it. We don't know who's got it. We say we got it, and it will be Benedictine football.
Well, Jack, the momentum just shifted back to the Cadets there. Thomasville came up with a stop, and we're ready to get the ball back, and a great punt by Adam King. He just dropped it. Nothing else to it. Just went right through his breadbasket.
And Adam hadn't gotten a whole lot of work kicking the last couple of weeks as BC's rarely had to punt. Our JV punters probably had more attempts than Adam has, but, man, Adam saved maybe his best punt of the year for the exact right time. And I think it was Dash Bergman who came up with the punt recovery. We'll check back on that later. I formation for the first time for BC tonight, and we got Chance Jackson's the eye back. They got a guy squirt through and almost wreaks havoc. Touchdown, Benedictine. I didn't think he got in there, but the far sideline side judge is going to give it to us. And it could have been disaster there, Will. They had a guy flying through our line of scrimmage, and Powers barely got the handoff to Jackson.
Yeah, also earlier in the game, they were able to time our snap pretty well and shot through and made a play. This time we were able to get the ball off, and good job by Chance Jackson to stick his head down and drive and get in there.
Point after attempt by Deloach is up, and it is good. With 10:07 remaining in the second quarter, your score, BC 21, Thomasville nothing. I want to alert our listeners to the second annual Benedictine Athletic Association Sporting Clay Tournament. That'll take place at the Forest City Gun Club on January 2nd. That's just after the new year, obviously. A kickoff party and Low Country Boil will be featuring Chuck Courtney from 6:30 to 10 p.m. on Friday night, and then the clay tournament will take place on Saturday morning with 8:30 registration and a 10 a.m. tournament start.
And, Jack, while we got a break right here, I assume we have some Thomasville people out there that are watching the broadcast, and just to give you a little brief history of Benedictine. The school, Benedictine Military School, was founded in 1902 here in Savannah by monks from Belmont Abbey out of Charlotte, North Carolina. And it was originally titled Benedictine College. That was the original name of the school, and that is where the nickname BC came from. The school later changed to Benedictine Military School, which is what it's called today, but still everyone in Savannah knows our school is BC.
Deloach's kick will be a lot shorter than normal, and that's going to come down to Beaudry at the 20, and we got good coverage, and our first guy down brings him to the ground just outside their own 30-yard line, and that's where Thomasville will take over. And if you look at the grand scheme of things, game's still a long way away from over. Thomasville has the ability, they have the talent to battle back. This is an important drive for Thomasville. If nothing else, you got to have something go your way, give you a little momentum, and hopefully pull this thing a little bit closer going into the break.
That's right. I don't think anyone expected any team to be ahead 21-0 at this point.
Not tonight. Hayes goes under center, a little offset eye, and they'll give it to Jones off the right side. DJ Owens got back there, made Jones slow down, and then we had a host of cadets. Looks like Philip Burke and Jack Muller were two guys in on the tackle. Jack Muller, one of the linebackers for the cadets, the leading tackler for the year. True Self Cooper, good to see him back out there tonight. Missed the last couple of weeks with an injury.
Yeah, Jack, when we're fully healthy on defense, we can be good.
2nd and 8 across that front line. DJ Owens, Paul West, Philip Burke, and Noah Johnson. And they're going to send Hammonds in motion. And they got a guy that moved. It looked like the right tackle for Thomasville started a little bit earlier, and that'll set Thomasville 5 yards back and bring up 2nd and 14.
Definitely what the Bulldogs did not need right there. As you mentioned just a minute ago, big drive for Thomasville here to try to make something positive happen, and retreating 5 yards isn't going to help your cause.
Single setback, and they're going to send Hammonds again in motion, showing what they just did. I'll give it to Jones on a little counter play. And he's got some room, and he stays on his feet, does a nice job of picking up an extra 3 or 4 yards by keeping his balance, and will bring up 2nd and 9, so they get that 5 yards right back after the penalty.
Yeah, I'm very curious why Thomasville is not testing our passing defense. I mean, they had success with it early on, just running the ball out of passing formations, and I would expect we would see it here on 3rd down, but they've kind of gone away from that after the first couple series.
3rd and 9, 8:40 remaining in the first half. Cadets show 4 down linemen, 2 receivers to the right side for Thomasville. Hayes drops straight back. He's got time. He's going to deliver one across the middle, and Stewart's intercepted it. And he looks to make a return. He's going to get it into BC territory, 45-40. There goes Stewart, 30. And there's a flag behind the play. Stewart will be run out of bounds at the 15-yard line, and it's going to be a personal foul, a hit well after the ball carrier had been out of bounds. But there's 2 flags down on the ground on the late hit on Stewart, but there's a flag all the way back at the 43-yard line in BC territory.
And I believe that one will be another block in the back. Now, do those penalties offset?
Well, both were after the interception had taken place.
That's correct.
And the personal foul was a dead ball, so they might. I'm not sure. We should have in our pre-production meeting should have studied up on the rules, because we've missed on a couple of things the last couple of weeks. But we'll see how this plays out. It will be BC football, because both penalties happened after BC took over possession. Hayes just overshot his guy. He had a guy dragging across the middle of the field, and Stewart was way back in his deep safety position.
Yeah, it was. The ball was well overthrown, and maybe that's why they're not content to sit back and let him throw the ball. But I think for Thomasville to have success, they need to run the ball out of passing formations, and just an unfortunate throw there by the quarterback, and it was almost like a punt. Went right to Brad, and we're going to see what the officials tell us here.
Well, they marked off the 10 yards for the blocking in the back from the spot of the foul, and then after they marked that off, they assessed the late hit on Thomasville. So from where the flag was originally thrown on the block in the back, BC gains 5 yards, and it'll be 1st and 10 at the Cadet 48. That is Brad Stewart's team-leading 5th interception on the season.
We'll take it, but we just need to instruct our guys on kick returns and interceptions just to lay off a little bit. We don't need to hit anybody in the back, because we would have had the ball near the goal line in this situation.
1st and 10, Harris tries to go off the right side. Thomasville, last couple of run plays for BC's done a really good job of penetrating our offensive line. A gain of about 2 on the play, bring up 2nd and 8. Clock running here in the second quarter with 8 minutes remaining in the first half.
Yeah, for most of the first half, we've kind of been able to dictate what we want to do on offense and just run the ball, but I think now we're going to need to start mixing it up a little bit.
2 receivers to both sides. Harris is back in the backfield with Powers. We send Kennedy in motion. We give it to Kennedy. He tries to get around left end, makes one guy miss. He gets north and south. Now he cuts back across the formation. There goes Kennedy, 35, 30, looking for a block from quarterback Powers. Kennedy going inside the 10. Touchdown, Benedictine.
That was all John Kennedy on that play. Thomasville had him bottled up, but he was just able to find a seam and wiggle through it, make a few guys miss, and next thing you know, he's running down the right sideline. He's going to be something special. Again, only a sophomore. Hopefully he'll continue to grow, get faster and quicker. He is going to be a great one.
Yeah, no, the acceleration and the ability to stop and start has always been there, but his vision has improved as the season has gone on, and his first touchdown of the night. Point after is down. A little bit of a trouble on the exchange, but Phillip Moore was able to get it down somehow. It wasn't pretty, but it's good. And with 7:32 remaining in the opening half of play, BC has taken a 28-0 lead.
And just want to inform everyone we have a special visitor tonight. Bishop Hartmeyer, Bishop of Savannah, is in attendance. So we thank him for his support of Catholic schools. And I'm sure next week he will be in Augusta as Aquinas starts their playoff run. But very appreciative of him being in attendance tonight.
Bishop Hartmeyer does a great job for the city of Savannah and all the schools over a massive diocese that covers so much ground here in South Georgia, and it's great to have him in attendance tonight. That was John Kennedy's 9th rushing touchdown of the year. He's had a few through the air as well, and it's just so electric, and the combination of Jackson and Kennedy in the backfield, and then there were two receivers. Holguin really hadn't had to do a whole lot tonight, but great weapons to have as Thomasville is set to return the kickoff. And that's Beaudry and Jalandon Jones standing at their own 10-yard line. A low line drive, end-over-end kick will come down at the 15, and that's Beaudry. Beaudry trying to pick his way through that BC coverage team and does a good job of just kind of bumbling and stumbling out to the 34. He did a good job picking his spot because BC had good coverage initially, but a good return by Beaudry set up Thomasville 1st and 10 at the 34.
Yeah, I think this might be the best field position of the night for the Bulldogs. Deloach needs to do a little bit better job of just getting that ball about 5 yards further. I think we're content to keep them inside the 30 on kickoffs, but we don't want to give them much more than that to start.
Hayes in the shotgun. He'll keep it after faking it to Jones. Keeps it off the right side. And he'll gain about 5 on the play, get up to the 39-yard line. First time we've seen that look tonight from Thomasville.
And I think Hayes needs to assert himself here as a dual threat player. We've been saying it for the past few series now, but I think that's going to be the key to Thomasville having some success here.
He's a great athlete, and he's had a heck of a year, and he's definitely going to have to assert himself more as we progress through the evening. Hayes will take it, and he'll give it to Jones. Good push by the Thomasville offensive line, and Jones will get real close to the first down markers. Looks to be right at it.
Yeah, I think they're going to measure this.
They're going to say he's a little short. If I'm Thomasville, I'm asking for a measurement here. Going to bring up 3rd and inches, if that. Linebackers right now for the Cadets, Josh Williams, Jack Muller, True Self Cooper. Defensive backs, Scott, Holguin, Stewart, and Deloach. 3rd and short, they need about a half a football. They send McGriffin motion from right to left. Hayes just give it to the fullback. Try a little quick hitter. We got back in the backfield. It looks like they gained about the half yard that they needed. Good push by one of our interior defensive linemen.
It's going to depend on the spot, and they are going to bring the chains out for this one. But I think from here it looks like they've got it. But
he just tried to sneak the fullback right behind the center right there.
But good job by our defensive line to get back there and kind of blow that play up, regardless of whether or not he picks up the first down. I've been very impressed so far tonight with both of our lines of scrimmages. Have kind of been in control of the game, and I wasn't so sure that was going to be the case. And he is short.
Yeah, no doubt, though, this is 4-down territory for Thomasville, down 28-0. They got to pick up maybe a chain link or two to pick up a first down. would be surprised if you don't just see a quarterback sneak from Hayes.
And if you're the Cadets, you don't mind conceding this. You just don't want to let anything over the top here for a score.
Well, big Paul West will probably man up on the center. Phillip Burke, defensive tackle next to him, will have to get a push here. Clock running, 5:57 left to go in the second quarter. And it's just Hayes calling his own number. We get a good push, but it's not going to be enough, as Hayes will get about a yard, almost a yard and a half, get it up to the 45-yard line, be a first down Thomasville.
And something Thomasville desperately needed, just to try to get some momentum back on their side and try to get some points on the board before halftime.
Well, they've got all 3 timeouts remaining, 5:49, so plenty of time here for Thomasville. As I formation, Jones is your I back. They go a little counter play action. Hayes will keep it, and Hayes is going to keep it and run. And he's going to get about 6. I'm really surprised, Will, we hadn't seen more of that. It almost looked like Hayes, after he came out of the play action, was almost dead set on running it even without looking at intended receivers.
Yeah, I mean, they've had their most success on plays like that. And we even had Josh Williams out there. He kept containment out the weak side linebacker. He was there, and Hayes made a miss and was able to pick up 6-7 yards there.
So they set the tight end off to the right, Hammonds in the I-back formation. Looks like McGriff's the lone receiver to the left. And Hammonds, a little legal procedure. There will be a flag thrown. Hayes looks. He's going to throw out into the flats. That's complete, and it's going to be a pickup of about a yard, but it looks like it's going to come back, as that's Jack Muller that comes in and finishes off either Derek James or Vantez Gordon. We've got 2 number 2s on the roster here for Thomasville. That's either James or Gordon on the catch.
Yeah, it was a false start. No, illegal shift.
Yeah, that was the tight end Hammonds that just got going a little bit too early, took a step forward before the ball was snapped, and it'll negate the gain and bring up 2nd and 10.
Did they mark that from the end of the play?
They shouldn't have. That should
go
back from the original mark.
That's a dead ball, right?
They are not marked. They did not mark the penalty yardage off. They did not. That is a blatant error. It should be 2nd and 15.
None of the BC coaches are complaining.
It should be 2nd and 15, but it's 2nd and 10. Hayes takes it. He'll give to Jones on a little counter. Jones has got room, and he busts through the right side of our defensive line. And True Self Cooper and Zach Scott come up to make the stop, but not before Thomasville can pick up another first down.
Yeah, I'm still not sure about that last call. Maybe we're wrong, but it seems to me that was a pre-snap penalty that should have been marked off from the line of scrimmage, but whatever. It's a good job by Thomasville to pick up the first down, and they're trucking along here with 4 minutes to go.
Hayes under center, double tight end, and they'll give it to the fullback again. A little quick hitter, nothing there. We swallow him up. Looks like True Self Cooper with the help of Phillip Burke. And it'll bring up 2nd and 9 as Thomasville. The clock starts to come into play just a little bit if they can't hit a big one. They do have 3 timeouts with 3:50 and clock running here in the second quarter.
Yeah, and Thomasville runs this no-huddle offense, but they don't seem to have any sense of urgency about them at this time.
Receivers to both sides, still in that I formation. Hayes, play action. He's going to look deep. He's going to take a shot, and he just can't get it there. They tried to hit McGriff on a little bit of a flag route, and we had a guy right in his face, Phillip Burke, good pass rush. The route was there. McGriff was open, just didn't have enough time back there in the backfield to let that play develop.
Yeah, Burke was able to get through the line and get to the quarterback quickly, and put a pretty good lick on him, and he was slow to get up after the play. And huge play by Phillip Burke there to rush the throw, and brings up a big third down here.
Thomasville will use their first timeout of the first half. The clock was already stopped at 3:26, but Thomasville 3rd and 10, looking to find a way to move the sticks once again and get something on the board. And it's a long way back. They still got to come back 4 touchdowns, but if you can somehow, if you're Thomasville, get this thing into the end zone, 28-7 looks so much better and so much more doable than 28-0 because they've had so many things go against them tonight. Some of them self-inflicted, others kind of outside of their control. But, yeah, if they go in out 28-0, you got to think that locker room at halftime is going to be pretty down. Anything good, points-wise here for Thomasville, would be a win.
Yeah, something they desperately need. And 3rd and 10, and you have to think this is 4-down territory for the Bulldogs. So they don't have to get it all right here, but they need to pick up something to give them a manageable 4th down.
I'm sure the Thomasville folks would like to see them get something going with McGriff, their leading receiver. Just hadn't been able to get his hands on the ball tonight, and I'm sure that he needs to be a part of the game plan going forward if Thomasville wants to get back in this thing. So it'll be 3rd and 10. They send 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, and now they'll take Hammonds off the line of scrimmage and put him in motion. Jones is next to Hayes in the backfield, and they're going to keep it with Hayes. Hayes fakes to Jones, and there's nothing there. We swallow him up. They showed a little fake to Jones to the wide side of the field. Hayes kept it, and just nothing there. Our defensive line of Burke, West, Noah Johnson swallowed him up behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, good job by our guys to not over-pursue when they saw the running back go through on the fake, and they stayed at home and just allowed Hayes to come right to them.
Just under 3 minutes remaining in the second quarter. 4th and 10 for the Bulldogs. Pretty much a no-brainer here. Got to try to make something happen. Hayes makes a little audible at the line of scrimmage. So he drops back in the shotgun, and they're going to call a delay a game on Thomasville, and that's going to hurt.
Yeah, you hate to see that because there are no play clocks in high school football, or at least in most stadiums. Yeah. And I don't know. That seemed a little quick to me. Yeah. You hate to see it, especially in a game like this. You want to kind of give them a little bit of leeway. I really don't like to see that call right there, even though it benefits the cadets.
It's extremely hard on high school quarterbacks because you really don't have a clue unless you have a specific guy on your sidelines keeping that clock. But nevertheless, Thomasville will bring their punt unit onto the field as Brad Stewart will drop back at the 12-yard line. And Heron awaits the snap. Good snap, gets it away. Low-line drive this time that Stewart will call for a fair catch, and he makes it at the 9-yard line. And BC will take over possession once again. 1st and 10 with 2:31 remaining in the first half and 2 timeouts left.
I tell you, Jack, I think so far tonight, Lucas Heron might be the MVP for Thomasville. He has done a phenomenal job punting the football.
The young man's been very impressive punting it. Just every single time a nice spiral. That one wasn't as high as his previous punts, but he's gotten a good foot into it and pinned BC back deep here. If you're BC, Thomasville has 2 timeouts. You want to be careful right here. You got a 28-0 lead. BC is set to get the opening kickoff in the second half. No need to force the issue right here. Now BC will show double wings for the first time tonight as Powers goes under center. And we got a whistle blown before the snap, and it looks like we moved. They're going to say we started a little ahead of the snap, and it'll be a 5-yard penalty against the Cadets.
And that may be, well, outside of the block and the back penalties, that might be the first formation penalty we've seen tonight. So pretty good, pretty clean game, really by both teams. Haven't been many penalties all game, but not a place you want to be backed up right here.
1st and 15 for the Cadets. We'll go the other way with it. We give it to Jackson this time as he tries to bounce to the outside. Spins out of a would-be tackler, and he's going to get it up almost back to the original line of scrimmage, bring up 2nd and about 11.
That spin move is Jackson's signature move, if you want to call it that, and he was able to elude one tackler, but got stuck pretty good there, but still picked up 5 yards to get us back to the original line of scrimmage.
Clock running. We're in no hurry, just now going under 2 minutes left here in the second quarter. Powers looking to the sideline. We're keeping a clock. We're trying to run this thing out, and he'll get the signal from the sideline to go ahead and snap it. And we'll give it to Kennedy around the left side. Kennedy patiently waiting, and he almost tried to burst through a little arm tackle there, but a good job by Thomasville making the tackle. It'll be a pickup of 6 on the play and bring up 3rd and a long 4.
Yeah, Kennedy almost broke that one. That's kind of what he does. He kind of sets up the defender kind of slows down a little bit, tries to wait for him to commit, and then cuts it back. But good job there by Thomasville to contain him.
Clock running, 1:17 remaining in the second quarter. BC trying to pick up a first down here and just get to the locker room. And that double wings again. We'll send Jackson in motion. We'll give it to him around the right side. They got a good push, and they're going to come up. And they miss a tackle, but they've got a couple other guys come up and make a tackle from the defensive back positions. It's going to be short of the first down marker, and Thomasville will indeed use their second timeout of the first half with 54 seconds remaining. So it does appear that BC will have to give the ball back to Thomasville one more time here in the first half.
And critical punt play right here for the Cadets. As you mentioned earlier, we don't punt a lot. We haven't had to just because we've been fortunate enough to kind of score at will on most of the teams we played. But critical here that we get a good snap and a good kickoff, and hopefully try to get them back around midfield and that should leave them with probably about 45 seconds left. And they would have one timeout.
Correct.
Is that correct?
I want to remind all of our viewers that all prospective students and families, please save the date for this Sunday. The Fall Open House at BC will take place on Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. on the campus of BC. That's the Fall Open House this Sunday at 2 p.m. Adam King will come onto the field for the second time tonight. The sophomore punter, who we mentioned earlier, has not had a whole lot of work since the Vidalia game. He'll come out for his second attempt tonight. Want to make sure you get a good snap here. And they've got a return man standing at the 47-yard line. Snap's good. King gets it away. This time a low wobble line drive. And Jones is just going to let it bounce. Excuse me, that's McGriff who is back deep for Thomasville. He lets it bounce. So all things considered, a good job by the BC punt unit. And Thomasville will have one timeout remaining with 43 seconds. And they've got to go 53 yards to put one in the end zone.
Yeah, Adam King got the job done there. Maybe a little slow getting the kick off, but was able to get it off. And it wasn't a spiral, but it was able to roll for a few yards and knock them back on the other side of the 50.
Thomasville probably going to take some shots down the field. Hayes in that shotgun formation. He'll roll to his left. Looking, and he tries to hit a receiver right in front of his bench. And they're going to say incomplete as the receiver caught the ball out of bounds. Runs 5 seconds off the clock to be 38 seconds remaining in the first half.
And it looked like we had Jack Muller there mirroring Hayes on the rollout. So I like that strategy. You don't want to let him burn you.
McGriff, the leading receiver, is to the near side as Hayes will take it, and he'll keep it after the fake to Jones. And Hayes will get hit, stays on his feet, does a great job of keeping his feet, but he's only going to gain about a yard. And Thomasville will use their last timeout of the first half with 28 seconds. Kind of odd there not to see Thomasville take a shot down the field. I know Hayes is a great athlete and has had a lot of success running the ball, but you just put yourself in a little bit behind the eight ball given the time situation, and now you're out of timeouts.
Yeah, that was a huge stop for the Cadets there because it forced them to use their last timeout, and now the clock is under 30 seconds, and you're still on the other side of the 50-yard line. But I guess you kind of have to trust the coach over there. He has coached in the college ranks. He was on Nick Saban's staff at LSU, so he's definitely paid his dues. And I'm sure Thomasville's lucky to have him there.
Well, before he came to Thomasville, he was the head man at Clark Central up in Athens and took Clark Central to the state championship game a few years ago. So he's been through the wars and is a good man to have down there in Thomasville. So it's going to bring up 3rd and 10, ball at the 47-yard line of Thomasville, and 28 seconds remaining in the first half. Hayes takes the snap and will roll right. Looking, he's going to try to hit a man, and it's going to be out of bounds once again. They tried just a little 3 or 4 yard out route, and that was Sapp, a receiver that's been put in the formation tonight a couple of times when they've used multiple receivers. Bring up 4th and 10 with 23 seconds remaining, and Thomasville is going to send the punt unit back out there, it appears.
Yeah, just poor execution on that series. 2 out routes on the sidelines, both incomplete out of bounds. There's really no excuse for that. It just comes down to practice and just knowing where you are on the field, and it looks like they did not know where they were.
23 seconds left. as Heron will come on the field again. If I'm BC, I do not have a return man back there. Let's get to the half up 28. Heron will take a good snap, and once again, another high kick, not as long as his other ones. And once again, we got a guy that was really close to the ball when it came down. We avoided disaster right there. That's kind of why you don't want to have anybody anywhere near the football. Just don't even put anybody back there. But BC will come away unscathed, and there will be 13 seconds remaining in the first half. Would be shocked not to see a knee here by BC.
Yeah, and you see Brad Stewart going back there as the safety valve. And we'll take a 28-0 lead into halftime. No one thought this scenario for either team would take place, and the Cadets get the ball to start the second half as well. So all things going the Cadets' way tonight.
We're going to take a short break, and then we're going to come back with halftime thoughts, a rundown of the scoring plays in the first half, as well as scores from around the state and all of our classifications, and especially a look around the other matchups between Region 1 and Region 2. Thank you for viewing and watching us here on BC TV tonight. We'll be right back. Your halftime score, Benedictine 28, Thomasville nothing.
Now the drive was
I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. A feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. A feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. A feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. Tonight's the night. Let's live it up. I got my money. Let's spin it up. Go out and smash it. Like oh my God. Jump out that sofa. Let's get off.
I know that we'll have a ball if we get down and go out and just lose it all. I feel stressed out, I wanna let it go. Let's go way out, spaced out, and losing our control.
Fill up my cup, Mazel tov. Look at her dancing, just take it off. Let's paint the town, we'll shut it down. Let's burn the roof,
And then we'll do it again.
let's do it, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it, and do it, and do it. Let's live it up and do it, and do it, and do it, do it, do it. Let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. Cause I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. A feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. I feel tonight's the night. Hey, let's live it up.
Let's live it up.
I got my money. Hey, let's spin it up. Let's spin it up. Go out and smash it.
Smash it.
Like oh my God.
like oh my God.
Jump out that sofa.
Come on.
Let's get off. Fill up my cup.
Drink.
Mazel tov. Look at her dancing.
Move it, move
Just
it.
take it off. Let's paint the town.
Paint the town.
We'll shut it down.
Shut it down.
Let's burn the roof. and then we'll do it again. Let's do it, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it, and do it, and do it. Let's live it up and do it, and do it, and do it, do it, do it. Let's do it, let's do it, let's do it, do it, do it, do it. Here we come, here we go. We gotta rock, easy come, easy go. Now we on top, feel the shot, body rock, rock it, don't stop. Round and round, up and down, around the clock. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Saturday to Sunday. Get with us, you know what we say. Party every day, party every day, and I'm feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. Feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night.
Welcome back to T.A. Wright Stadium on the campus of Savannah State University. Your halftime score, Benedictine 28, Thomasville nothing in a first-round GHSA AA state playoff game. And as we run down the scoring for the first half, I don't think anyone thought that this would be the type of game or how this played out like it did. Thomasville did a lot of things to hurt themselves in the first quarter, and BC took full advantage. Scoring got underway when Stevie Powers connected with Brad Stewart on a 4th and long after BC had committed a pass interference penalty early in the drive. But BC was able to just throw it up. Powers to Stewart, connection that has become legendary in BC lore. Those two connected once again. That was Stevie's 23rd touchdown pass of the year and Stewart's 13th touchdown reception of the year. Chance Jackson would add the next 2 touchdowns on a nice nifty run in the first quarter, and then he would add the 3rd touchdown for the Cadets on a 2-yard plunge. And all 3 extra points by senior Brandon DeLoach were good. And then the 4th touchdown was a remarkable run by sophomore John Kennedy, who was able to navigate almost the entire Thomasville defense going back and forth across the field using his very good vision to put it into the end zone. And that was the culmination of scoring plays in the first half and puts us at 28-0. Well, we talked all week about whether or not BC was able to do what they couldn't do against Vidalia, and that was control the lines of scrimmage. I really think that's been the difference in this game. We've gotten a great push on offense, and our defensive line, doesn't matter if Thomasville's tried to run it or throw it, has gotten a lot of penetration, has wreaked havoc in the Bulldogs' backfield.
Yeah, I can only recall one time with the Cadets on offense where Thomasville was able to pressure Stevie Powers. So great job by the offensive line, and again, the defensive line for controlling that line of scrimmage. And, we talked about before the game, Stevie is not 100%, and so he's going to need all the help he can get. But so far tonight, he's been spot on, and a lot of that is due to the offensive line giving him time and also allowing us to run the ball so that we don't have to rely on the arm of Stevie Powers.
Yeah, and it's probably the best we've run the ball, and probably since, I guess you could say, Wayne County, but that's the last time BC really tried to establish the run. Even against Vidalia, BC was at least 60-40, if not 70-30 through the air, and then the last 3 weeks, all bet against much inferior opponents, BC's been almost 80-20 pass. So BC's showing a little bit different look to Thomasville than what we've done majority of the second half of the season. I don't know if that caught Thomasville a little bit off guard, but give credit to our guys on the offensive side. They've really come out and executed well, both through the air, but especially on the run game. Yeah,
and we're running the ball out of the shotgun formation with the little speed sweeps, and that was what we saw a lot of last year in the playoffs, especially against Fitzgerald and against Calhoun, when we were able to basically control the second half of those games by just running John Gaines on speed sweeps for 6 and 7 yards a pop, and we're able to run out the clocks in those games. So I suspect we'll come out and try to do the same in the second half, and we'll see if Thomasville can adjust and stop that.
Well, the winner of tonight's game will move on to play the winner of Rabun County Chattooga. If Chattooga was to win the contest, they would come out and have to travel to either Savannah or Thomasville next week. But right now, Rabun County leads Chattooga 21-6. That's a halftime score, and the winner of tonight's game would have to move on and play at Rabun County. And Will, I was familiar about Rabun County as far as just knowing a little bit about the county and things like that. I knew what part of the state it was, being in the northeast part of Georgia. I didn't exactly know how far it is. You MapQuest it online. It's about a 6-hour drive from Savannah, give or take 30 minutes. In Thomasville, it's almost just the same amount of distance, at least 5 hours.
Yeah, hopefully we can get out of tonight with the W, and if we're able to do that, it looks like we would travel to Tiger, Georgia, to take on Rabun County. And Jack, that would present a conundrum for me. I have my son's birthday party the following Saturday morning, so if anyone out there has a private jet or anything they'd be willing to lend, we'd appreciate that. I think OC Welch sold the helicopter, so I don't think we have that at our disposal anymore. But any type of quick transportation would definitely be appreciated.
Well,
let's worry about winning tonight.
Long way to go here, and like we said in the first half, Thomasville has the weapons to get back in this thing. Got to take care of business and cannot relax if you're in that BC locker room right now. But on another note, Will, you do not schedule birthday parties and you do not schedule weddings on Saturdays in the fall. So you're not going to find any sympathy from me.
I'm not asking for sympathy for you. I'm just asking for a ride back.
Well, hopefully we have that opportunity to take that trip next Friday night.
Yeah, we need to get more focused. You're right, Jack. We long way to go here, and hopefully the mood in the BC locker room is a little bit more focused than the mood is up here in the booth. But we're just excited to be up 28-0 at this point.
We're looking at some other games in this area of the state. Well, if you look at the Savannah area, not a whole lot of teams playing football tonight in this area of the state. You don't have anybody else in Savannah playing tonight. You got Calvary and Savannah Christian on the single A level do not open up their playoff run until next week. And then you don't have anyone from Effingham County, no one from Bryan County, the Redskins. It's hard to, my apologies to the Bryan County folks. They are over there in Fitzgerald, and last score we saw, they were down big. And then no one in Liberty County. The Panthers made it. Hey,
you're over too, Jack.
I told you I needed to look at my notes. But Liberty County, they are a tough challenge, and BC, of course, beat Liberty earlier this year. And they had a tough battle on their hands tonight. But if we look at other AA scores, the latest scores we've received, Vidalia leading Berrien, the 4 seed from Region 1, 49-21. That's a halftime score. And Bacon County and Brooks County tied at 14 at the half. That's a halftime score. And to me, that's as surprising as anything we've seen on the scoreboard tonight.
I agree, Jack. I think this score here and the tie ball game down there in Brooks County are probably the two biggest surprises right now as people are looking at scores from across the state. And I think most people predicted that Region 1 and Region 2 would split these first-round playoff games, and if any region was going to go 3-2, it would be Region 1. But that might not be the case, and that would be a tremendous upset for Bryan County to beat Brooks County.
Looking at some other scores in AA, Lamar County leading Swainsboro 14-6. That's a halftime score. Monticello tied with Scriven County. Scriven County, the Region 3 champions, are tied with Monticello 7-7 in Sylvania. A little bit surprising. Anytime you see a 4 putting up a fight against a 1, it's a little bit surprising. Jefferson County leading Bleckley County 26-14. That's a halftime score. And Model beating Union County 21-7 at halftime. And that's a game being played up there north of the Nat line, as they say. And Heard County leading Wesleyan. The last score we got 28-7. So Heard putting it on Wesleyan pretty good there in the first round matchup. And as more scores come in other classifications, we will relay those to you. We have about 4 minutes until second half action gets underway. Please stay with us. We're going to take another short break and then come back for second half action. Your halftime score here on BC TV, Benedictine 28, Thomasville nothing. back here at T.A. Wright Stadium. First round of the AA state playoffs. Benedictine leads Thomasville 28-0. Tonight's game sponsor on BCTV is Southern Breeze HVAC Incorporated. Rob Riles, class of 1995, helping bring you tonight's action. As we get underway here in the second half, BC will receive the opening kickoff of the half. And
we also want to recognize our two cameramen, Javier Vasquez, both students. Javier, a junior at BC, was the cameraman for the first half, and taking the ball for the second half for the camera is Richard Lucas, another junior at BC. Thank you very much to those two gentlemen who are up on the roof here at Ted Wright Stadium. And we are here nice and warm in the booth, and they are up on the roof freezing cold. So thank you for your service, gentlemen. Yeah, chilly night, tough duty. This is Jack Holland being joined by Will Fleming, and, of course, the lady that makes everything go, Miss Joanne Bowden, doing everything for us here tonight to make our job easier. So Thomasville will kick off. That's Heron, once again, who was busy in the first half with punting duties. He'll kick it away, and they will kick it deep, and it'll come down. It looks like Jack Muller will take it. One of our upbacks will take it right up the gut. He's got a hole. There goes Jack down the sidelines. Now he cuts back to the middle of the field. Hold on to that football, and he will be brought down at the 43-yard line. That's a linebacker. He's also a backup fullback for the Cadets, so he has had some chances to touch the football, but a great return there by Jack. And if you're Thomasville and on that sideline, you got to be devastated that that's how the second half opens. Yeah, the air is slowly starting to deflate out of that Bulldog team, and that's just one more punch in the gut. And but like you said, Muller has shown his ability as a running back during. He's even been in there during prime action, just backing up Chris Harris, giving him a rest, and just a great return by Muller. Well, Chris Harris is now spread wide left as Kennedy and Holguin are to your right. That's Kennedy in motion. We'll give the ball to him. He gets north and south real quick, and a good job by a secondary man by Thomasville coming up and making a great open field tackle. That might have been that's Beaudry, and it's a guy we heard about all week from the BC coaching staff who is a player. And right there you can just tell he's got a different set of skills. He comes up and closes and makes that tackle. But an interesting formation there with Harris split out wide. We give it to Jackson around right end. He's trying to get something out of nothing, and he's going to get across the first down marker. Good job by Chance, because Thomasville did a good job of stringing that play out, and Jackson somehow was able to pick up about 4 and pick up a first down for BC. Chance Jackson not only very fast but very elusive and has great balance. And you can see there he's able to twist and turn and fall forward for a few more yards. BC in that shotgun 1st and 10. That's Jackson. We give it to him. Coming across the formation, he is stuck hard by a Thomasville defensive back. That's Beaudry again. And we didn't really get a chance to see him in action too much there in the first half for one reason or another. But, boy, that young man can come up and lay a hit. Yeah, he stopped Chance Jackson dead in his track there, but BC comes out doing exactly what we thought they would in the shotgun, running the speed sweeps to try to turn this clock. 2nd and 10 for BC as we send Kennedy in motion. We play action, and Powers is going to roll that way. We're going to take a shot deep with Stewart in the corner of the end zone. No, and it's deflected away. Good coverage there by Thomasville. Had a man right there with Stewart. It just turned into a simple jump ball, which we've tried so many times in the past. And good coverage by their corner man. That's Chapman, number 9 for Thomasville in coverage. And it'll bring up 3rd and 10 for the Cadets. Clock stopped. 10:30 remaining in the third quarter. I don't mind the call there. Try to keep them off balance and play action off of that speed sweep. Whistle's going to blow the play dead before we can get a snap off a whistle, and it's going to be a little early motion on BC once again. So that's a couple of times tonight. That'll bring up 3rd and 15 now for the Cadets. Yeah, we can't afford to waste good opportunities. And after the good kickoff return by Jack Muller, we've set ourselves up with a very difficult 3rd and long here. Obvious passing situation. We just showed our hand there that we were going to throw a screen, so you don't think they'll go that route again. That's Holguin comes across the formation in motion. Powers stands up, and he's going to throw it to Kennedy. Just a little stand-up pass. And Kennedy almost lost the ball. He bobbled it, was able to retain possession. Could have been a little bit of a disastrous situation. And it'll be 4th
and about 15. We didn't really get much there. Give us maybe a yard. Be 4th and 14. And you're on that line right there. You're up 28, so that lends you to believe that you might punt it. And we're going to call timeout. Coach Britt none too happy. Coach Britt is very upset with, I think, either his coach. Yeah, he's upset with the coaching staff because he has given one of our assistants a little bit of an earful. So BC will burn their first time out of the second half with 9:54 remaining in the third quarter.
Yeah, so some indecision there on the sideline on what to do, and the play clock was winding down. And I think at this point you're best punting the ball. Your defense has played extremely well tonight. Your chances of picking up 15 yards on 4th down are very slim. So just punt them, try to pin them back near the goal line, and let your defense try to win the game for you.
So King will check in for the third time tonight. If you had to do it over, though, again, Will, you probably want to save that timeout and just take the 5-yard delay of game penalty.
Absolutely. That's where the indecision on the sideline came into play.
So King go high right up the chimney, and they'll call fair catch. That's McGriff who will make it at the 8-yard line. So Thomasville does come up with a stop, and they'll give their offense the ball back in the same spot they were in at the end of the first half, down 28-0.
Great job by the Bulldogs there after the opening kickoff by Jack Muller had the Cadets set up with very good field position, but they were able to get our offense off the field, and now they come back on to try to get back in this ball game.
So if you're Thomasville, got to make something happen here on this drive. You're down 4 touchdowns, and you only got 2 quarters left to play. And we got a whistle coming in, and they're going to throw a flag. It appears on Thomasville, saying Thomasville's lined up offsides. This referee, the side judge here on the near sideline, has thrown a number of flags on both teams tonight. He's been very active throwing the handkerchief, so it'll make it 1st and 15 for Thomasville as they now move back to the 3-yard line.
Might need to check to make sure he has both shoes on and he's looking straight down the line. That can be a problem sometimes.
So Thomasville I formation. Jones is your eye back. They give it to Jones off the left side. He's got a little bit of running room. He's got a good bit of running room, actually, as he'll get it across the 10-yard line to the 12-yard line. And it'll be a pickup of 9 on the play and bring up 2nd and about 6. And Thomasville probably show a little more urgency here in the second half.
I would think so. They've gone no huddle all game, but have kind of been taking their time and content to continue to run the ball.
They send McGriff in motion. They hand it off to the halfback set up to the right of Hayes, and not much there. They maybe get back to the line of scrimmage.
Coach Britt and the defensive coaching staff have really prepared the Cadets well tonight. It doesn't look like our guys have been fooled very much. They seem like they've been in place all night. And fundamentals have been good with wrapping up tackles. So very, very good game plan so far by BC.
3rd and 6, and Hayes just calls his own number around the right end. He's going to pick up a first down. We got a guy comes from behind the play to make the tackle. That looks like Jack Muller, BC's leading tackler, but not before Hayes can pick up a first down. And the ball will be marked at the 24-yard line.
And as soon as I praise our defense, Mr. Hayes runs around the right end for a first down, but I think that's more of what Thomasville needs to do to try to get back in this ball game is to try to create space for Hayes to run.
1st and 10, I formation. Hayes gives off to Jones. Jones is off the left side, and we had a guy come back there, hard hit, and makes a tackle. That looks like Phillip Burke. The senior defensive lineman, Burke, broke through the offensive line, made a nice play. Gain of 2 by Jones, and will bring up 2nd and 8 for the Bulldogs.
And BC has defended the designed run very well. It's been on the breakaway plays where Hayes has created his own way where they've had success. So we'll see what they do here.
Hayes just gives it to Jones, who's the lone back, and not much there again. Maybe picks up about 2.5, and it'll bring up a 3rd and medium situation for Thomasville with 7:44 clock running left here in the third quarter.
And I think you have to let Hayes control the ball here. Roll him out, look for a receiver downfield. If that's not there, let him tuck it and run to try to get 5 yards here.
They've got to get to the 34-yard line to pick up a first down. Still in that I formation. And that's McGriff going in motion across the formation. And they'll give it to Jones on a little counter play, and Jones is going to have it. He's going to have it pretty easily. A gain of about 6 or 7 on the play, and it'll move the chains again. And if you're Thomasville, you're piecing things together, first down here and there. Problem is they don't have the ability to have time-consuming drives, whether they score or not.
You're right. This was had they done this in the first half, they would have been in pretty good situation right now. But you're right. They need to develop a sense of urgency at some point here soon.
McGriff goes in motion again. Hayes, he'll give it to one of those backs, go off the left side, and that's Jones who gets, we'll call it 4, set up 2nd and 6. But once again, that clock continues to run. 6:44 remaining in the third, a quarter and a half left, but Thomasville's down 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, and the plays they are running, while they are picking up 4, 5, 6 yards of chop, they're not designed to be breakaway plays either. So they're content now to just kind of methodically go down the field, but at some point they're going to need to pick up some big chunks of yards.
And Jones on that counter play again. That's been their most successful running play a majority of the night, where they pull an offensive lineman or two and they counter the play with Jones, and it'll be another first down Thomasville as they get it close to midfield. And Thomasville is driving. 6:17 left in the third.
And Jack, I may shut up here pretty soon. It seems like every time I bring it up, they go for a first down.
Still in that I formation, receiver to each side. And they're going to play action with Hayes. Hayes looking, and he's going to throw to receiver right the foot sideline. A late flag coming in well behind the play, but that's going to be McGriff, their leading receiver, gets it all the way down to the BC 31-yard line. And the biggest pass play of the night for Thomasville, there is a flag back at the line of scrimmage. It was thrown late, and it was thrown by that same referee who has thrown more than half the flags tonight. Ineligible man downfield appears to be the first indication.
And, Jack, that's a call. Not only do you rarely see it at the high school level, you rarely see that at the college level, too. And usually it comes into play when you're setting up a screen pass. But obviously our eyes were not looking at that, so you just have to trust the official. But a flag you don't usually see thrown in a high school game, but we'll take it.
Yeah,
Negates a big play for
tough
Thomasville.
break there. The best throw of the night from Hayes, and it goes for naught. It'll be 1st and 15 for the Bulldogs. Hammonds will go in a little short motion there, the tight end. And once again, they'll play action. Hayes rolling to his right, and he's going to hit Hammonds out in the flat, and he stumbles down to his feet, but it's going to not before he picks up about 9 or 10 on the play and gets it into BC territory.
Yeah, basically the same play. This time we did a better job covering the out route up the field, but they snuck him underneath and were able to complete a good pass, pick up good yardage, and get close to that first down marker.
James Davis will check out, one of their wide receivers, and Cedric Holton, junior tight end, will check in at that left tight end position. Be 2nd and 5. Jones is your eye back, and they'll bring McGriff all the way across the formation. And they'll give it to Jones right up the gut. Jones bounces it to his right. He's going to pick up about 3 on the play. Ball comes loose, but the referee had already marked him down. Going to bring up 3rd and 2. So Thomasville really doing a good job of positive gain after positive gain, but that clock now under 5 minutes at 4:44 left to go in the third. Don't need to push the panic button yet, but we're getting pretty close to where they're going to have to speed things up.
Yeah, and 3rd and short here, but I think this is definitely 4-down territory, down 4 touchdowns.
And they just go quarterback sneak with Hayes, and they're going to give him the spot. It looks from where the far side judge is coming in, it will be enough for a first down, it appears.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to have it by about a foot, maybe 2 feet, based on the spot. And I don't even think they're going to measure it. No, they're just going to send the chains on. So first down for Thomasville. And like you said, Jack, they're picking up first downs. They're moving the ball, but we're already under 4.5 minutes left in the third quarter.
McGriff and Davis are the wide receivers to the left side of the formation. Jones is the single back. We're showing 4-down linemen. They go with Jones right up the gut. And Jones kind of picking his way through that defensive line. A gain of about 3 for the Bulldogs, and that'll bring up 2nd and 7. It's just they're doing what they're wanting. Like you said, Will, you do this in the first half, we've got ourselves a whole different football game. But I think Coach Britt, of course he doesn't want to give up first downs defensively, but we'll be happy if they kind of march their way down the field on a long, sustained drive.
Absolutely.
So it'll be 2nd and 7. They go with that single back again. Davis to the left and McGriff to the right, and they send Holton across the formation. Hayes, play action, rolling to his left. We got Johnson gives initial penetration, but Johnson can't come up with the play, and Hayes does a nice job of getting what he can. And Jack Muller, once again with the tackle. Muller always seems to be around the football. Be 3rd and short for the Bulldogs. 3rd and 5, excuse me.
Jack, the pass coverage tonight for BC has been terrific. Really haven't been any open receivers for Hayes to throw the ball to, but he's had to create, and he's done a pretty good job of picking up positive yardage in those situations.
Got to think it's 4-down territory here if you're Thomasville. I formation, Jones in the I back. Once again, McGriff goes in motion. And there's that counter play again with Jones, and he's got a little bit of a crease. He's going to be right there at the 1st down marker. That side judge coming in. It's going to be real close. He might be just an inch or two short.
I think he is from the referee coming on the far sideline where he ran up from. Looked like he was about a half yard short.
So, yeah, they're not even going to measure. Going to be 4th and inches. And you expect to see Hayes call his own number again.
We are about a yard off the ball, our defensive line is.
They give it deep to Jones, and Jones will get enough with that surge from the offensive line, and that'll be another Thomasville 1st down with 2:23. The clock stops here in the 3rd quarter, and Thomasville just till 10, 11, 12 yards at a time, but it's eating up a lot of clock.
On that play, I was kind of surprised that our defensive line was lined up a good yard off the ball and almost conceded that 1st down.
This is still the first possession of the second half for Thomasville. As they go back to the shotgun, and that's Hayes who will play action. And they're going to try to throw it out here to the near sideline. We got a guy comes up and makes a big hit. It looked like True Self Cooper was one of those guys. They tried to throw a little, maybe what, a tunnel screen to James Davis, one of their wide receivers. We had it covered, and then Hayes didn't have any other options but to tuck it.
Yeah, Mr. Cooper coming up from the middle linebacking spot and laying a big hit on Hayes there. And that's one where True Self will tell you he put him to sleep on that play. Big hit by Cooper.
1:39 clock running here in the 3rd quarter. Be 2nd and 11 for the Bulldogs. They're at the BC 33-yard line. Hayes will give to Jones a little counter action. We get great penetration, and we drag Jones down from behind. Josh Williams going to be credited with the tackle and barely gets back to the line of scrimmage, does Jones, and set up 3rd and a long 11.
Looks like they even lost a yard based on the spot. And, Jack, we're down to a minute left in the 3rd quarter. Thomasville has controlled the ball for almost the entire quarter, but still no points, and they still don't seem to be in a hurry.
Hayes in that shotgun. He'll roll to the left. It's a design quarterback run. We string it out. Scott can't contain on the outside. And Hayes gets close to the 1st down where they're spotting him. He's about a yard and a half short, but we had a guy that just could not contain him any longer on the outside, and Hayes just did a good job of getting upfield and getting as much as he could, and it'll bring up 4th and a yard and a half or so.
Yeah, Zach Scott there kind of got sucked in a little bit. Got to keep containment with Hayes running the ball like that.
Clock stop with 46 seconds. Could be the play of the game for Thomasville. 4th and a yard and a half. Hayes in the shotgun. They're going to snap it to him, and Leroy Riles comes sprinting down the Thomasville sideline to call a timeout right before the Bulldogs could snap it, and that'll be Thomasville's first timeout of the second half. Once again, it's that time for our BC Point of Pride this week, as we like to congratulate and give best wishes to the BC class of 2014 who were admitted to more than 65 colleges and universities across the country. Those colleges and universities include Notre Dame, Dartmouth, Stanford, MIT, Georgia, the Georgia Institute of Technology, the University of California at Berkeley, and the University of Virginia. Once again, that's another BC Point of Pride.
Jack, it seems like we have the same point of pride every week. Lots of great things going on at BC, and if you've been following us every week, you've heard us read that line off here a few times, but I promise you, very good things going on with our cadet brigade and all of our students. But you can't argue with those college acceptances, and any school in Savannah, we would rival academically as well as athletically.
Well, it could be the play of the season for Thomasville if they want to stay in this game. 4th and about 1.5 yards. They've got to get to the 22-yard line. Hayes is back there next to Jones. And they'll snap it to Hayes. They'll fake it to Jones. Hayes keeps it, and he's going to ball came loose, but
short.
after, and it's going to be real close. I think the BC coaching staff who's sitting in the booth right next to us, I think they like it. I think they like that spot. It's going to be close. They just faked it to Jones. Hayes, I can't blame the play call if you're Thomasville, and they're not even going to measure. First down, BC.
No, he was about 1 yard short. I saw the far sideline judge running up, and he was nowhere close to the first down marker. So excellent job by the BC defense there to make a stand, and that might be the straw that breaks the Bulldogs' back in this scenario. They were able to march down close to the red zone, but just ate up too much time, and it makes you wonder, do they have the ability to move the ball quickly?
Well, BC will take over their second possession of the first half, and we'll give it to Jackson around the right end. And Jackson runs over one of the Thomasville defenders and gets about 5 on the play. And right now you just wonder how much does Thomasville left in the tank. You know that those kids have worked extremely hard this year. Co-champions in Region 1, but they got to look at that scoreboard, see that they're down 28-0. Got to find something in the reserve to get you through the rest of this game.
That's right, Jack. And BC's kind of in an unfamiliar position here, playing a quality opponent and needing to run the ball and control clock to end this ball game. Into the third quarter, and Cadets lead 28-0. And Jack, the close games we've been in, obviously we've come out on the losing side, and our really only other competitive game was against Wayne County, and even then we were still throwing the ball pretty regularly in the second half. So this will be a good test for us to see if we can line up, run the ball, and control the rest of this fourth quarter and get out of here with a W.
BC will take a 28-0 lead into the fourth quarter. I want to thank all of our viewers tonight for tuning in. Here on BC TV, tonight's game sponsor, Southern Breeze HVAC Incorporated. Rob Riles, class of 1995, playing a role tonight in bringing you this broadcast. And we hadn't even mentioned it yet, Will. These two teams have met a couple of times in the last handful of years. Of course, they met in 2013 in the second round of the state baseball playoffs. And BC would come away victorious in a 3-game series. And then back in 2010, one of the better BC basketball teams in the history of the school went down to Thomasville in the second round and ran into Robert Carter and a couple of those other guys for Thomasville who would go on to play in the state championship. The Bulldogs got the better of us that night. As Jackson will go around the right side, that's going to be a big pickup for the senior running back as he'll continue to drive all the way down to the 47-yard line, be a fresh set of downs for the Cadets.
And Jack, going back to that state playoff basketball game, I was actually made the trip for that game, and Cadets definitely ran into a buzzsaw that night. And it all started, if I remember correctly, the court was either a rubber court or a tile court, something different, and we couldn't adjust to it all night long, and that wasn't the reason we lost, but definitely a home court advantage for the Bulldogs. Kennedy
on the carry on 1st and 10. He'll get it out to the 46-yard line in Thomasville territory, bring up 2nd and 3. But, yeah, that was a great BC team and obviously a great Thomasville team who went on to make a run deep into the playoffs to the state title game.
I was going to say, I think they made it to the state title game and lost to GAC, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct. I'm pretty sure you're correct. So it'll be 2nd and 3 as we're in that double wings. Jackson goes in motion. And we'll give it to Harris, a little quick hitter with the fullback, and he'll pick up about 6, and it'll be another first down for the Cadets with 11:05 remaining in the contest.
Well, so far, Jack, we're passing the test of being able to control the clock here in the fourth quarter and run the ball. And I'll tell you, Chris Harris is such a great asset to have. Quick for his size, strong. Very rarely is one man going to be able to bring him down.
Ball right at the 40-yard line, 1st and 10. Jackson and Kennedy are your backs. That's Jackson going in motion, and he slips as he tries to cut on a dime. He'll still get 2, but lost his footing there as he made the cut. Bring up 2nd and 8.
And still Stevie Powers showing no signs of being ill. Apparently he's been under the weather for about 2 weeks now.
Of course, Stevie signing earlier this week with Southern Miss to play baseball, along with Al Pesto signing with Duke for baseball, and Connor DeWitt signing to play at West Point for lacrosse. So we send Kennedy in motion, and they're going to blow the whistle before we can get the snap off. And once again, we're going to be moving, just getting a little bit, jumping the gun a handful of times tonight, and it'll set up 2nd and 13 for the Cadets.
Yeah, not many penalties tonight. We've been fairly good, and we're in a position to where it's not going to hurt us right now. And just with 10 minutes to go and up 4 touchdowns, assuming we move on in the playoffs, those false starts and procedures and blocks in the back could cost us.
Go twins to both sides. We send Jackson in motion as Powers in that shotgun. Powers takes it. He'll give it to Jackson off the right side. Slips through one arm tackle, and then he'll get across the 40-yard line to the 39 and set up a more manageable 3rd down situation, 3rd and 9.
And here we might be content to run the ball here. We're up 4 scores. The clock is running. You risk obviously throwing an interception if you drop back. Let's see what the Cadets do here on 3rd and long.
BC's got to get to the 30-yard line to pick up a 1st down. We send Kennedy in motion. We'll play action. Powers drops, looks. He's going to take a shot with Stewart, who's wide open. Touchdown, Benedictine.
Or we could run play action and hit Stewart on a post pattern for a touchdown. And that, Jack, has to be the nail in the coffin for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, that's going to put it out of hand. Great job by the BC offensive line, because that play took a really long time to develop. I don't see exactly what Stewart ran there. It ended up being a post, but it might have been a corner post or something.
Like a zigzag.
Because it was a long developing route, and Powers hung in there as long as he could and threw it right down the middle of the field to Stewart for his 2nd touchdown catch of the night. And BC extends its lead as DeLoach's extra point is up, and it is good. With 9:19 remaining in the contest, BC has extended its lead to 35-0.
And I think the BC crowd here is finally starting to let loose a little bit. Even up 28-0 at halftime, there was still some apprehension that the Bulldogs could fight back. But going up 35 in the 4th quarter, I think everyone figures we've got this one in hand, and they're starting to have a good time in the BC stands.
Well, to brag on the BC faithful and the majority of the BC supporters, they're very knowledgeable. They do a good job of studying the opponent leading up to the weekend. And most folks knew Thomasville just from the proud tradition they've always had. But looking into what Thomasville's done this year, we knew what kind of football team we were getting. And like you said, Will, going into half 28-0, we felt really good, but by no means did we think this game was over. But what we were able to do, stopping them on 4th down there at the end of the 3rd quarter, and then that long touchdown pass right there, BC has done everything you could have possibly asked for them tonight in a very, very well-executed game plan.
And you have to think people across the state, if they see the score, it's going to kind of get their attention. I think most people thought this would be a dogfight. We thought it was going to be a dogfight, but no one by any means thought either team would win in blowout fashion, and it looks like that's what we're heading to tonight.
Score update from Tiger, Georgia. Rabun County 24, Chattooga 14. Getting word that Chattooga scored on a fake punch. That's a 10-point game there in the 2nd half. DeLoach will boot it away again, and it's a high end-over-end kick. It'll come down in the numbers at about the 20-yard line. That's one of their receivers as a flag comes in behind the play. That's number 20, James Davis. And that flag came in from a guy by trailing the play, one of the referees along the BC bench. Dash Bergman going to be credited with the tackle on kickoff coverage. Will be blocking the back on Thomasville.
And Jack, we've got another BC point of pride here. This one on the athletic side. For the past 2 years, BC's athletics program has been ranked number 1 in all of Southeast Georgia among all classifications. And that includes schools like Camden County and Statesboro and the like. And BC's overall athletic program has been ranked number 1 in the Georgia Athletic Directors Association's Cup in all of Southeast Georgia. So great job by the cadets overall.
And that is another BC point of pride. Didn't finish the drill.
I'm sorry. I forgot to say that.
False start on Thomasville. That same referee has thrown a whole bunch of flags on both sides, and Thomasville will have to start 1st and 15 now at the 10-yard line. 9:08 remaining in the contest. All BC here at T.A. Wright Stadium. I formation. Jones dots the I. And they'll give it to Jones. Jones right up the gut, and pretty much what we've seen most of the second half. Just a heavy dose of Hayes and Jones running the ball.
Yeah, it seemed like Thomasville never changed their game plan from the start of the game. Even after they got down early, they just continued to do what they set out to do, which was establish the run. And you kind of have to question that at a certain point when you're down 28 points to start the second half.
That's Jones on a little stretch play around the left side. And he's going to get to the 20-yard line, a gain of 6 on the play, and it'll bring up 3rd and 6. Clock running 8:28, and Thomasville's just content to run their offense and then play out the string here.
And Jack, as a reminder, you will be able to watch a replay of this game at the same website you're watching it now. I believe as of Tuesday, you can watch the replay for free on the NFHS network.
McGriff goes in motion as Hazel taking a counterplay to Jones, and Jones gets stuck in the backfield by 3 or 4 cadets. The defensive line just clogged that up from the very get-go. Tillman Gerner's been checked into the game at one of those linebacker spots. He's in there assisting on that tackle. And the clock continues to run with 7:49, and Thomasville, unfortunately, tonight for the Bulldogs, has sent that punt unit onto the field way more than it would like.
Yeah, and that punter is a very good punter. Do we have a year on
Senior.
him? A senior. I don't know if he has any college prospects, but I think he could make a college roster somewhere. He's been a very good punter tonight for the Bulldogs.
Good-sized kid, too, as Stewart and Kennedy will drop back at the 47. And once again, a beautiful spiral as Stewart will call fair catch, and he will make it at the 48, and a late flag comes in again, and it might be going against the cadet punt return unit. At this point in time, it's not going to hurt us, for tonight's sake, but, man, a whole lot of penalties here in the second half after a pretty clean first half.
Yeah, we definitely need to get that cleaned up going forward into the next round. And, Jack, also, anyone out there that's watching this from the Savannah area, we would ask you to consider purchasing your Christmas tree and or Christmas wreath from the BC Athletic Association. They've been doing this fundraiser for a few years now. You can buy it directly through the Athletic Association and help support BC sports, and at the same time get a premium Fraser Fir Christmas tree or wreath. And you can go to the BC website for more details on that.
BC will come back out, 1st and 10, double wing, and we go with Harris right up the gut, fullback dive, and Harris running through a tackle. And then he's going to get it almost to the first down marker, and now you just got a big old pushing and shoving match between the two teams. Almost all 22 guys are in there in that one little pile, and it's going to be right at the first down sticks, and probably enough for a first down. It will be.
Terrific job by BC in the second half. I guess really the fourth quarter, we really didn't have the ball for much in the third quarter. But great job by the offensive line getting push and allowing us to run the ball and close this game out.
Clock running, 6:43 remaining in the contest. We'll keep an eye on that score up there at Rabun County as Powers looking for direction from the sideline on when to snap it. Powers goes under. We'll give it to Harris once again, this time off the left side. And Harris runs over a linebacker, makes a good tackle. That's
number 39.
39 for the Bulldogs. Gavin Hires, one of their better players. He's had a really good year for the Thomasville Bulldogs, and he'll be back for his senior campaign in 2015.
Yeah, he was kind of received Chris Harris. Chris Harris kind of ran right into him, but he was able to keep him from advancing further.
It'll be 2nd and 5 for the Cadets as Powers just looking to the sideline is without a play clock on the field like we mentioned earlier. That's the way you got to do it in high school football. Is we'll give it Harris once again a little bit of tough give right there between Powers and Harris. It looked like Powers and Harris ran into each other. I remember back in middle school that happening like half the time in practice where the fullback and quarterback ran into each other somehow.
Yeah, not sure what happened there, but something on the exchange. Luckily, no harm done. We hold on to the ball. Brings up third and about 3.
Lamar County up on Swainsboro 21-14. That's an end of the third quarter score. Lovett over Bremen 42-7. That's a 2 versus a 3. All Lovett over Bremen. Give this time goes to Kennedy. Not much there. He tries to kind of scamper around for a minute, but he'll barely get back to the line of scrimmage, and it'll bring up 4th and 3, and it looks like BC's punt unit is set to come onto the field.
Still a good job to eat up some clock here. Looks like the entire team is going to come to the sideline. Coach Britt is motioning for everyone to come to the sideline, and it looks like, I think, is there a timeout on the play? I did not see a motion. Here we go, and now we're going to send the punt unit out.
Yeah, I think Thomasville thought there was a timeout because they started all going to the sidelines because we all went to the sideline, and then the referee actually blew his whistle to give Thomasville a chance to come back onto the field.
I don't know that that's the referee's job in that situation.
We're missing our punter, and he comes on late. It's going to be hard to punt it away without a guy back there to kick it.
I think we kind of faked ourselves out there, Jack.
So it'll be 4th and 3, and Adam King will stand at his own 41-yard line. McGriff back at his own 16 awaiting the kick. And good snap by Owens, and King will get it away. A wobbly kick, low liner, but it won't be returnable. It'll bounce at the 20, take a BC hop forward, and it's going to go in the book as a really good punt by Adam King as it'll roll dead at the 8-yard line, and Thomasville will take over there with 3:55 remaining in the game.
And for all the BC supporters tuning in tonight, there's plenty of opportunities to get involved with the school through the Alumni Association or the Athletic Association, and you can find links to join both of those associations at the BC website, www.thebc400.com. You can also see video on the capital campaign that we are currently underway with and on improving the school buildings, adding a wing, potentially a football stadium, resurfacing the parking lot, basically recreating the entire entrance to the school. Lots of great projects on the docket for that capital campaign, and we can definitely use all the support we can get.
2nd and 8 for Thomasville. They'll give it to Jones once again on that counter play. It's probably been the play they've run the most tonight. It'll gain about 1.5 yards, 2 yards, set up 3rd and medium, and clock runs with 2:55 left to go in the game. Both teams have 2 timeouts remaining.
And the clock continues to roll under 2 minutes and 45 seconds. And I think some people are starting to make their way to the exits here. Trying to get some score updates for you.
Hayes will give it to Jones, and Jones will push forward, but not much there. Good job by the defensive line for BC. Once again, probably the best game our defensive line has played all year. Now, Paul West was on that defensive line pretty much the whole game. That might be the first time this year Paul has played almost every snap on the defensive line, and he's had a big night. So has Phillip Burke, and nice to see Noah Johnson out there. And DJ Owens had a great first quarter for the Cadets. Just an all-around A-plus effort from our defensive line tonight.
Yeah, we were kind of exposed a little bit against Vidalia. Really the only game all year where you could just say that we had a decided disadvantage in terms of our defensive line. But they came out to play tonight.
Heron with a low line drive that'll bounce at the 46 and take a 90-degree bounce. That's Beaudry who will cover it at the 43. That might be the last time that young man touches a football in a Thomasville uniform, and if it is, from everything I've heard and seen from that young man, what a great career he has had, And, we've talked about this last week, Will, and every week from here on out is one of the toughest things you'll see in high school sports is when a lot of these guys, now some of these guys, of course, for Thomasville will go on to play at the next level, but for a lot of these young men, this will be the last time they ever put shoulder pads and a helmet on, and that's a very emotional experience. It doesn't matter who you are or when it happens.
Yeah, hats off to these guys for a great career, and we're in the victory formation. But Thomasville certainly nothing to hang their heads low about. They had a good season, played well against some big-time opponents, and finished with a winning record. And sometimes you can't ask for much more than that.
Now, BC will either host Chattooga next Friday night, but it's more and more looking like we're going to make that 6-hour drive to Tiger, Georgia next Friday night, but we'll keep an eye on that. Please stay with us for post-game remarks, comments, thoughts, and hopefully as many scores as we can possibly bring you here on the post-game. Powers takes a snap on second down and takes another knee, and the clock now running under 50 seconds, and BC will have to take one more snap, and then that'll be all she wrote on a great night for BC football and a chance to play one more time.
And definitely Thomasville, a first-class program. They played with a lot of heart tonight and were very disciplined. Not very many penalties, and just a well-run organization.
It's can't say enough positive about Thomasville. Just a great program that are going to continue to do great things. And tonight, BC just happened to be the better team on this evening. But great season by Thomasville. Their season will come to a close. A final record of 6-5. They will be co-Region 1 champions. Nothing will change that. And Thomasville will look to move forward and work in the offseason to get ready for 2015.
Well, Jack, a great win. The Cadets definitely made a statement tonight. Thomasville is a very good football team, and BC came out and dominated in all phases of the game, and that gives me a lot of optimism moving forward. And you and I kind of both, when we saw the playoff bracket, we figured the first round would be a dogfight, but if we can get out of the first round, anything is possible. And we've made it out of the first round, and we'll see where we go from here. It's going to be an exciting run.
Yeah, just trying to look and find as many scores as possible. GAC was leading 41-0 at halftime. We thought they might have been struggling a little bit earlier when we saw the score was 13-0, but they had a halftime lead of 41-0. So GAC and Lovett from Region 6 are cruising into the second round, and a late third quarter score. This just coming into us here in the booth. Bacon County and Brooks County 17-17 down in Quitman, Georgia. That's heading to the fourth quarter in a tie game between the Raiders and Brooks County.
That is definitely a surprise. Bacon County is a team we really did not have much trouble with. Really surprised to see them locked up with Brooks County this late in the ball game. It just goes to show you maybe our region was a little stronger than we thought. We kind of looked at it as BC, Vidalia, and then everybody else. But Bacon County definitely making a name for themselves and carrying the Region 2 flag.
Jefferson County up on Bleckley County 38-21. That's a late third quarter score. And Fitzgerald over Bryan County. Last score we got 46-20. The Hurricanes over the Redskins as the Cadets are singing the fight song in front of the BC faithful on a very cold night. One of the colder nights I can remember for a first-round playoff game. Definitely in the last 4 years when BC has made the postseason. As Pace Academy is beating Bowden 35-21. That's a 4 over a 1. Region 6's number 4 seed. But in contrast, Wesleyan is trailing to Heard County by 2 touchdowns. So Region 6 mixed results there. The top 2 taking care of business like we thought they would. But 3 is trailing by 2 scores, and the 4 seed is winning convincingly.
And probably the 2 regions with the most parity would be Region 6 and Region 1. And if any 4 seed were to upset a 1 seed, probably would have come from Region 6, mainly because the region they are paired up with in the first round is not a traditionally strong region.
And Lamar County, start of the fourth quarter, leading Swainsboro 21-14. A lot of these games are trailing us a little bit, Will, because that second half moved about as quick as it possibly could in the second half, with Thomasville running off a majority of the third quarter clock. And BC I know, that's okay. But no, we're not going to be able to stay with you long enough to get those final scores. But it appears that Rabun County is going to win. That could change there in the fourth quarter up at Tiger. But make sure you check your internet or listen to Tommy Palmer's scoreboard show tonight from 10 to 12 across the state. But a great night, Will. BC comes in and takes care of business, more dominating than I think anybody would have ever imagined. But just a great game plan put together by Coach Britt and his staff. The kids executed, and we move on another week and another opportunity for BC to put together what has been a pretty good run here the better part of the last 3 years.
That's right, Jack. BC, the players, the fans, the coaches, the cheerleaders, everybody is all in for this playoff run. That's been the tagline for the past year or two with the run last year in the state playoffs and the baseball state championship team. We are all in, and we are all in for the second round, heading up to Tiger, Georgia. Most likely going to make a long road trip and take on Rabun County.
Well, before we go, I also want to acknowledge the Thomasville band, who did an unbelievable job throughout the entire game and including halftime. I want to thank our game sponsor tonight, Southern Breeze HVAC Incorporated, brought to you tonight by Rob Riles, class of 1995 at Benedictine. No matter where we play next week, whether it is here or up in Rabun County, we will be live on BCTV bringing you the action, the second round action in the GHSA state playoffs. So for a final time, I want to thank Will Fleming, doing a great job once again, had a great time, and couldn't have been possible without our producer, Mrs. Joanne Bowden. So a final time on a winning night for the Cadets. Your final score, BC 35, Thomasville nothing. Have a great weekend, everybody.